What's up guys, it's Tom here, and Liverpool came back twice from behind to get a very important and valuable draw against Arsenal in their own backyard. One of our biggest title rivals couldn't beat a Liverpool side decimated with injuries. We had 5 players out injured, and yes, Arsenal had their own injury problems, but remember, Arsenal was desperate to beat Liverpool today after they lost to Bournemouth 2-0 and after they were already 4 points behind Liverpool. But Liverpool came back twice, and especially in the second half, Liverpool played really well. Up until the 60th minute, this was a pretty bad Liverpool performance. I don't want to sugarcoat it, but let's actually talk about why it was bad. Liverpool were surprisingly passive. I said in my pre-match preview game that it was crucial how Liverpool pressed Arsenal, and we went with a 4-2-4 defensive pressing system, which were in theory good because we had 4 players pressing the Arsenal backline. But the problem is we didn't really press because we didn't have Dominic Szoboszlai on the pitch, and McAllister looks like he's still carrying that knock, that injury that he got during the Argentina international break. He didn't start for Argentina one game. He came off injured before the last international break against Crystal Palace. So today he started instead of Szoboszlai, and Curtis Jones started to play pretty well. But it was pretty obvious that Liverpool missed Szoboszlai's legs and enthusiasm and tenacity, and he's just running after everyone, and his work rate is honestly one of the best I've ever seen. And I'm not just saying that because I'm also Hungarian. Szoboszlai's work rate is through the roof, and Liverpool instantly got better when Szoboszlai was substituted for McAllister. But I felt Liverpool were too passive in the pressing system. The perfect example is Arsenal's first goal. Ben White has all the time in the world to take a couple of touches, and he sees Saka making a run and actually pointing where he wants the ball, and Darwin Núñez fails to press him. When he starts pressing him, it's already too late. Ben White releases a brilliant over-the-top through ball, and Saka, who was behind Robertson, so it was not offside, he beats Robertson after like a sprint by like 3 yards. Robertson looked very slow in that instance, and then he also gets nutmegged and he falls on his backside, and Saka slots it home into the near post. It's a brilliant individual goal by Saka, but it's not just Robertson's fault, because any fullback who is isolated one-on-one against Saka, most of them will struggle, like 99 out of 100 times, because in a straight foot race, Saka is lightning quick. And the biggest problem was Liverpool didn't really have any intensity in their pressing and any urgency, and Arsenal did what Chelsea did. The back four wasn't really a back four in attack. It was a back three, and Timber, who played left back, played further forward like an inverted left back in the midfield. So Liverpool got outnumbered in midfield because we had 4 players pressing up front, and then we had Gravenberch and maybe an slightly injured McAllister running around chasing so many midfielders. And what Arsenal did is just, because Liverpool failed to press Arsenal in the first half properly, they could pick their passes, and Trossard always found a pocket of space, and then Timber and other players, Declan Rice, Kai Havertz, they always find this pocket of space. And because the Arsenal backline wasn't pressed properly enough, wasn't pressed with intensity, with urgency, like we pressed in the last 30 minutes, Arsenal could pick their passes, and they got through Liverpool's press, and that's where Liverpool's tactic falls apart a little bit. If you get through the press, then you are running at the Liverpool defense. And that was why Arsenal looked so dangerous in the first half. And after Saka's goal, Liverpool actually did really well to come back. It was a brilliant set piece. Normally, Arsenal clear the corner. They always put a man on the front post or near post. But today, Luis Diaz got ahead of the player at the near post and flicked it on, and Van Dijk had to just glance it over the line into the back of the net, into the far corner after Luis Diaz's flicked header. Even though Diaz didn't really have a particular good game, Thomas Partey, who is not a right back, took Diaz out of the game pretty much. He had one great run in the beginning of the second half where he nutmegged Partey and then he got past another Arsenal player, but he just couldn't reach the ball because he was running at full pace and the ball was a little bit too quick for him. But Luis Diaz was defended brilliantly by Thomas Partey. We have to give him credit. Second half, Gakpo was much better. I think it's significant that Arsenal, who already had 2 injuries at the back, they suffered 2 more because Gabriel got an injury and Timber got an injury. Timber just came back from injury, so now Timber is injured again and Gabriel is injured again. Saliba will be back, but Calafiori is out injured, so Arsenal will struggle just to put enough bodies in defense. Liverpool's forward line is a little bit decimated by injury because Jota, Keys and Harvey Elliott, 3 of our attacking players, were injured. So Liverpool were 2-1 down because our failed press or like half-hearted pressing, Arsenal got so many times behind our press in the midfield and they were running at the Liverpool backline. So Liverpool kept fouling Arsenal in very dangerous positions. And that was, I think, very naive that Liverpool kept giving away all these free kick opportunities to Arsenal. And sooner or later, Liverpool were bound to concede because Arsenal are the best set-piece team. And it's poetic that the director showed the Arsenal set-piece coach just before Arsenal scored from that set piece. And yes, Liverpool are also strong from set pieces, but Arsenal kept doing the same tactic. They overload the back post and they always whip it to the back post. But of course, it's easier to defend it on paper than it is to defend it in real life. And Van Dijk was very unlucky that when he reacts half a second too early and his leg plays Mikel Merino on side, and Merino's brilliant bullet header is into the back of the net. What is really staggering is that Kelleher basically had nothing to do in the first half apart from pick the ball out of his net twice. And both times it wasn't really Kelleher's fault. He couldn't do anything about the goals. And I think Liverpool still limited Arsenal to few chances. But imagine if we had Szoboszlai from the start, a fully fit McAllister, or McAllister maybe shouldn't have started and Szoboszlai should start. But I understand Szoboszlai can't play every game and Arne Slot has to sometimes rotate somebody. But maybe Arne Slot wanted to win the Leipzig game more and just get a draw today, not sure. But yeah, Szoboszlai sometimes has to be rotated. The problem is we don't have another midfielder who is a bundle of energy like Szoboszlai, pressing the opposition and running after everyone. And it was evident in the first 60 minutes. After Szoboszlai came on, and I felt Robertson had a pretty poor game, and Liverpool should start looking at left backs. And we should bring in somebody who is younger, fresher, and much quicker than Robertson. And maybe Tsimikas should be now sometimes our first choice left back, because Robertson, against these really fast forwards, he looked terrified. If Saka just kept running at Robertson, I think Robertson would have eventually got a yellow card and maybe even a second yellow and a red card. So if I were Saka, I would have just kept running at Robertson because he was terrified of Saka's pace. And if I was Arsenal, I would have just isolated Robertson with Saka and just kept running at Robertson, because that was Liverpool's weak point. The myth is that Trent can't defend. Well, Martinelli didn't have a lot of joy today. Trent defended him brilliantly, and overall Trent was pretty good. And in the second half, the pass that he plays into the channel to Darwin Núñez is nothing short of sensational, because Arsenal lose the ball in the Liverpool half and Liverpool are onto them, and Trent has the ball in his own half. He dinks an over-the-top through ball to Darwin Núñez, who runs through the channel, and Salah is running towards that same direction. But as soon as he sees Núñez running onto the ball, what does Salah do? He sprints into the middle, into a goal-scoring position, like an absolute lightning-quick train. And Nunez brilliantly picks him out with a square pass in the, I think, 81st minute, something like that. And Salah slots it home with his stronger left foot. An absolute trademark Liverpool counter-attacking goal. And we have to, of course, say that Arsenal had two defenders injured at that moment. Timber and Gabriel had to be substituted. And there was Kelly or something like that, a youth academy player, Arsenal youngster, who came on. And he did pretty well. But in that instance, he was caught upfield because he went on the overlap to attack. And Arsenal got punished for it. And I think also Liverpool were there for the taking. In the first half we were so passive. If Arsenal were really having this like killer ruthless winning mentality like Man City have, then Arsenal would have just went for Liverpool's throat and kept attacking Liverpool until it's 3-1. Because at 2-1, Liverpool were always in the game. And after 60 minutes, Arne Slot really changed it around. We brought on Szoboszlai, we brought on Tsimikas, we brought on Cody Gakpo. All three of them were much better than McAllister, Robertson and Luis Diaz. And the second half was Liverpool's. Liverpool had the better and more chances. And in the end, actually, Liverpool had more shots on target 4 than Arsenal 3. So nobody can say this wasn't a deserved point for Liverpool. Because I think on the second half performance, Liverpool deserved the point. The first half, Liverpool were really terrible because just our press wasn't there. I'm not sure why we were so passive. We should have went for the throat of Arsenal, really, because if you want to win the league title, you have to have this mentality, especially because Arsenal were vulnerable. Arsenal didn't have Saliba, their best centre-back. They also didn't have Calafiori. They had a makeshift defense, and they weren't full on confidence. They just lost to Bournemouth. So imagine if Liverpool played from the first whistle like we played from the 65th minute, like front foot on the ball, but maybe Liverpool just wanted to keep it tight for the first few minutes. Well, that didn't work because, yes, we were passive and Saka scored after like 10 minutes and the crowd was really up, and it didn't help that the atmosphere was absolutely electric, especially in the first half. And I don't understand why in the second half Arsenal players booed. The referee made some iffy decisions, but he made iffy decisions on both sides. You know my opinion on Taylor or Michael Oliver or whoever the referee was. He's just an absolute idiot, and I don't understand why the Premier League still hasn't introduced semi-automated offside decisions. It took an absolute age for them to check the Arsenal goal. With semi-automatic offside systems, there is no human error involved. Remember Luis Diaz's goal against Tottenham? And it's a lot quicker. It's like 5 times quicker. These Premier League VR people, they are like, it's like a bunch of blind people guiding each other in a room. Like, it's absolutely idiotic. They were showing them on a small monitor and they were just clueless. Is it offside? Is it not offside? They were checking it for like 3 minutes. Semi-automated offside, it's like that. 5 seconds, the graphic is up, it's onside or offside. And yeah, the Premier League referees, I don't understand. Is this ego that they are not introducing it in the Premier League because they think they are better than everyone, every other major league and the Champions League and the World Cup and the Euros? They all had semi-automated offside decisions, offside systems for years. And yet English referees are not introducing it to the Premier League because they think they are better than everyone. Well, tell you what, they are actually worse than everyone else. Every other major league, the referees are worse than them in the Premier League. Let me tell it like it is. Let me know what do you think about the game. Do you think it was a deserved draw? And now, yes, Liverpool are 1 point behind Man City, and Man City have a much easier draw in the next few rounds than Liverpool, because Liverpool play Brighton at Anfield in the Premier League, and we also play them in the League Cup as well. And we have Aston Villa coming up and Man City very soon in the Premier League. We have Leverkusen and Real Madrid coming up in the Champions League as well. This was the biggest test of Liverpool so far, and I think we came through it okay. Arne Slot will learn from his mistakes and hopefully he will have better tactics for the next big match. That's it for today's video. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this. Have a nice day. See you later. Goodbye.